so much going on, but trust and believe. I do, like you and so many others, anticipate that this is going to be a conversation going forward. I want to switch gears. Anthony, so we had this new report that came out this week from Robert Hur and his report on President Biden's handling of classified documents. You are a former DOJ guy.
Right.
I want your take on this because a lot of people have likened it to James Comey in terms of what he did during the 2016 election and how it negatively may have impacted Hillary Clinton's chances.
Right. So, Charles, I talked to Robert Hur right before his appointment as special counsel. And I had high hopes that he really would be an umpire, like an unbiased umpire who just calls balls and strikes as they are. And in some sense, he did. On the substance, he got it right. It's not appropriate for Joe Biden or anyone around him to be criminally charged in this case. But on the other hand, using this extraneous language to talk about Biden's mental acuity, I think that showed extraordinarily bad judgment. It was not consistent with the high traditions of the Justice Department. And I think that Robert Hur was the wrong choice to be special counsel. And I say this as someone who has great respect and affinity for the Justice Department and the Attorney General. But I think in retrospect, Garland should have chosen someone who was perhaps at the end of a distinguished legal career, who can just really call it like he or she saw it. And what we have here is Robert Hur, who is mid-career. He's 51 years old, and he wrote a report that feels designed to safeguard his employ in a future Republican administration. So Hur got it wrong, and I think he was the wrong choice.
Yeah.
You talked about the DOJ's tradition. It doesn't just violate tradition. It actually violates the rules. Like DOJ prosecutors, aren't they exempt or supposed to be exempt from disparaging the reputation of uncharged parties? Because President Biden has not been charged.
Normal prosecutors are. The rules are a little bit different and murky with special counsels. And the way that he wrote this language that really has all of us upset, he made it germane to the issue. And he was really clever about it, which is really why I am quite bothered that this type of language was included in this report. And I feel pretty strongly that he was the wrong choice to be special counsel.
Molly, what's your take on it from an electorate standpoint? How do you think this is this putting the thumb on the scale, or do you feel like it'll wash away?
I mean, I think that the point of this report was to put the thumb on the scale. And remember, Hur worked in the Trump administration.
Yes, he did.
This guy is a partisan. And what you realize is that Democrats are not ready for a Republican Party that is so hyper-partisan, that is so involved. I mean, look at the House of Representatives. They have run that like a campaign arm of the Trump campaign. And I really think that we're in a situation now where Democrats have to, you can't put a Republican to do one of these investigations because they're not acting in good faith. I mean, Hur is not a neurologist. He's not a doctor, right? I mean, his editorializing about Biden is completely irrelevant, and it was set up in a way to deliver right-wing talking points.
Let me make one final point, Charles, is I want to give Joe Biden credit here. He and his son are subject to two special counsel investigations by this Justice Department. Joe Biden has not interfered in either of these special counsel investigations. And that is what it means to have respect for the rule of law. Just imagine if the shoe were on the other foot. And if Bill Barr had appointed two Obama-era U.S. attorneys to investigate Donald Trump and or his children, Trump would have burned down the Justice Department. And I think that contrast is important, and that's what's gotten lost, I think, over these last couple of days. The president, Joe Biden, has been hands-off in both of these special counsel investigations, and he should be recognized for that.
Can I just add one other thing?
Really quickly.
Saying you don't know in a deposition is pretty standard. And most times people don't then say that person has dementia.
That's correct. Two excellent points by two excellent guests. Anthony Coley, Molly Jong-Fast, thank you for getting us started.